I was on a date last night and it went incredibly well, better than any date has ever gone for me before. And I was thinking that I think that's a rare thing for guys to be able to say. To be on a date with a girl you're actually attracted to, because any dude could go on a date with a fat girl and do well, right? Because you don't care, you're not nervous, you're not actually attracted to the girl, so who gives a shit? You're gonna act like however the fuck you want. I think it's rare for guys to be able to say that they went on a date with a girl they were actually attracted to, they were nervous for it, and then they actually did well. And I was trying to think about how I even got to that point. Like, even a year ago, how I acted around women is so much different than now. But I haven't done it by like going up and cold approaching hundreds of women like you see people talk about on YouTube videos of you need to go approach more girls, right? I didn't do it doing that. I just did it exposing myself to social situations, whether it was with women or whether it was with other guys or old people or young people alike. It was just exposing myself to social situations that I've gotten to this point. And so that's what I want to talk about today. I think a lot of guys want to be able to go talk to girls, but they don't even have the base social skill level to have a normal conversation with another human being. They don't even have the base social skill level to strike up a conversation with a waitress at a restaurant, talk to someone in a waiting room while you're waiting for your doctor's appointment. They don't even have that base social skill level, and they're expecting themselves to go and talk to girls. That just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, have you ever thought about the fact, the reason why you can't speak to women is because it's just too hard? Like, it's just too difficult. You get this sick feeling of anxiety before you approach. Have you ever considered that that's there because this is just too difficult for you to do? It's hard to want to admit that. You do take a hit to your ego that way. But in admitting that to yourself, you can open the door to changing, to actually changing, instead of just seeing a girl, getting nervous, not approaching, and doing that 100 times over. You know, you don't want to be part of 90% of the population. This is a real study that they did. 90% of the population of men have never cold approached a girl in their life. Now think about how many guys are going to be single for their entire life. How many guys are never going to go on a date if 90% of the population has never approached a girl in their life? You do not want to be part of that. You do not want to be part of that, do you? Not at all. So let's fix the problem. Let's do something that we can actually do and then build our way up to approaching women, because just admit to yourself, it's just too hard. I just can't do it. I gotta find something else to do and then build my way up to doing that. I really like the analogy of the gym for this. Leonardo da Vinci has an awesome quote where he says, everything relates to everything else. And it's basically like the way you deal in business is the way you deal with women. The way that you work out in the gym is the way that you deal in business. Everything you do in your life relates to everything else. And whether that's universally true or not, I don't really know. But what I do know is that the gym teaches you about how to live life. This is why lifting weights is the number one thing you can do for yourself as a young man or as a person in general, because it will teach you discipline and consistency and dedication and what was the word for that? Delayed gratification. It will teach you about all of these things and cement them in your brain as lessons to learn for life that you carry into business, women, your friendships, everything in your life. You carry those lessons into it. So if we can look at dating, if we can put the lens of the gym over dating and look at it that way, it makes so much more sense. Because when you go to bench press for the first time, you didn't put 315 on the bar, obviously. You put on a weight that you could actually manage. Maybe you put 2 10s on the side of it, or maybe you did a plate for the first time, who knows? But you put a weight on that you could actually manage for like 8 to 12 reps at a time, right? When I put it in this terms, you're like, oh, duh, of course I'm not going to put 315 on the bar and drop it on my neck and kill myself like an idiot. But do you actually understand this? Do you take this lesson into the rest of life with you? Cold approaching women is like putting 315 on the bar for the first time. the first time you bench press. It's stupid. It's like I'm going to expect myself to go talk to this hot girl without any prior social experience. Do you see how dumb it sounds now? Try to put that into perspective for yourself. Try to really internalize that for a second. It's like putting 315 on the bar and expecting yourself to bench it. Of course you're not going to. Take that same mindset into speaking to women and dating. Understand that there's actually a level of normal social skills that you need to have where you can say hello to people that pass by you, say good morning to your teacher, speak to the barista at the coffee shop you're at, strike up a little conversation with a cashier at a grocery store. This is the base level that every human being should, that none of us have. I cannot tell you the amount of socially retarded people that I deal with on a day-to-day basis. I work as a dental assistant, and I work with some absolutely socially retarded people, and I'm like, you do not even know how to interact with a human being at all, do you? There's so many people that are like this. And I think part of it had to do with COVID. We were all stuck inside for a year. But there's a base level of social skill that you need to have, specifically you, before going and approaching women. You can take... What was I going to say? There's a graph that I really, really like that shows your skill level and the difficulty level of a task that you're going to do. And this is a graph basically explaining how flow state works. Flow state is this state. I think it's been studied to be like the happiest state of human beings. But it's basically a state where the difficulty level of the task at hand and your skill level at that thing match. So it is a little bit hard to do, but it's not too hard that your skill level matches it, and then you reach flow state. So with women, what's happening is that the difficulty level of the task is too high compared to your skill level at social skills. Does that make sense? And if there's this discrepancy here, then you get anxious. This is what social anxiety is. I don't know if anyone's ever explained this to you before. This blew my mind when somebody explained this to me. It's because you just don't even have enough skill level to do the task at hand. Does that make sense? So in order to start overcoming social anxiety, you need a task level that matches your skill level. Does that make sense? You cannot expect yourself to go approach girls because your skill level just isn't high enough, period. It just simply isn't there. You have to do something that you can actually do, that you can do, and that you will do to actually start leveling up your social skills so that eventually now you can approach women. Hopefully that makes sense. This absolutely blew my mind when I learned it because I was like, I'm trying to go talk to girls, but I don't even have any friends. I don't even do anything with anybody. I can't even talk to the old lady that's at the counter in my rec center. Or I kind of can, but I can't really have a good conversation with her. I don't look at people when I walk by them. I don't hold conversations with baristas or employees at grocery stores. I don't even have the basic social skill level to be able to function without getting so absolutely anxious in a social setting. It's like, who the fuck's supposed to feel socially anxious when they go to 7-Eleven and are about to pay for their Slurpee? That's not supposed to happen. That's supposed to be something you can just go do, and it's fine because you're a human being and you have social abilities because you're a social creature. So you need to build. Hopefully this makes sense. And this is how I've gotten any success with women. I'm not saying I'm some kind of like player and the best with women ever. I'm not saying that at all. But this success where you can go on a date and have a successful date with a girl, someone you actually like, so many guys would kill to have that. I know that you would. The only reason that you're watching social skills videos right now is because you know that it will help you get women, because you want to have this love, and there's nothing wrong with that. You shouldn't be ashamed of that at all. But in order to get there, you have to do the small steps building up to it. You can't expect yourself to lift 315 right away. Because right now, with you not even having the social skill level that you need, not only are you trying to be good enough, skilled enough to get this girl, you have to overcome all of the social anxiety you have going into social interactions anyways. So you're making it double hard for yourself. Does that make sense? You're making it extra difficult for yourself by not just having basic social skill ability. When you approach women from this perspective, because the only skill you need to be able to talk to women, I read this in this dating book, Models by Mark Manson. The only skill you need to talk to women is just the skill of speaking to people. And then once you have it there, flirting and everything like that, it kind of just comes naturally. And if the girl is into you, she'll flirt and it'll make it all go really, really smooth. So the skill of speaking to women is just the skill of speaking to other human beings. That's it. So if you approach, instead of speaking to women, you kind of go on a side quest. The main quest is wanting to talk to girls. But in order to get the skills to do that, you need to do a bunch of side quests. And those side quests are speaking to other people. Being more willing to ask the cashier at your grocery store, how's your day going? Or you're at the drive-thru and you ask, how's your day going today? You guys busy or what? When you see somebody that has a cool shirt on or something like that, you walk up and you say, hey, I really like the shirt. Then you introduce yourself to them. This is how you build the skill level that you need to be able to take on the main quest of speaking to girls. You can imagine two guys, right? They both want to approach the same girl. They're both going to approach the same girl. Guy number one is Jeffrey. He doesn't have any friends. He has like one or two friends he plays video games with and one shitty friend he goes and works out with, right? But besides that, doesn't really do anything. He kind of keeps his head down, doesn't look at anybody, doesn't really speak to anybody throughout his day unless he really has to. And he's going to go approach the girl. We'll call her Rachel. He's going to go approach Rachel. Rachel is the most attractive woman you've ever seen in your life. Just putting that out there. Now, the second guy is Maximus. Maximus has lots of friends everywhere he goes. He socializes everywhere he goes. He looks people in the eyes, holds his chest out, stands up straight, says hello to people as he passes by them, has little conversations with everybody around him all the time, whether he's at a coffee shop or the gas station or the grocery store, or he's shopping for clothes. Now, both of them are going to approach Rachel in the same day. Who is going to have more success? And let's say that they're both the same attractiveness level. Jeffrey actually takes pretty good care of himself and they're both the same attractiveness level, right? Which guy is going to have more success? It's obvious. It's obvious, right? You're sitting there going, well, duh, of course, Maximus is going to have more success. But let's understand why. Him going into the interaction with Rachel, it's 5 o'clock, everyone's at the gym, it's peak gym hours, he's going to approach Rachel. Throughout his day, what has he been doing? He's been socializing. He's spoken to his teachers, his other classmates, a kid he doesn't know. He's spoken to the employees at the Chick-fil-A he went to for lunch. He's spoken to the guy at the gas station that he saw. He's given a compliment to a few people he's walked by that day. He's been socializing throughout the day to where he's in a bit of a social flow state. He actually has some comfortability in the social interactions. Let's take Jeffrey now. Jeffrey hasn't been socializing at all throughout his day. He's kept his head down, done his schoolwork, gone home, played some video games, and then he's finally going to go to the gym with his friend. But he hasn't spoken to anybody throughout the day. Does this make sense now? There's a comfortability with social interactions that Maximus has that Jeffrey doesn't, that makes Maximus better in the social interaction. Imagine how much more comfortable you would be with a girl if when you were going to go talk to her, throughout the day you had been socializing anyways. Throughout the week you had been socializing a bunch. You have some friends that you hang out with anyways who you socialize with and you do social things with. You have such a comfortability with social environments, period, not just with women, just social environments, period, that you have enough of the skill of speaking to people, which is the skill you need to be able to speak to women, that now you can speak to women. I just want to get the point across to you that before you can expect yourself to go talk to girls, there's a level of social skill you gotta have before you can do that. Before you can bench 315, you gotta just bench the bar, and you add the little minuscule 2.5 weights over a long period of time, building up to 315 until you can finally do 315. And yes, these 2.5 weights feel so insignificant and stupid and like, why am I here doing this right now? This doesn't even matter. It's not doing anything for me. Until that one day when you're like, oh, I actually feel pretty fucking good about myself. And you go approach the girl and you look back across all the time that you were adding the 2.5 weights and you go, damn, that was all so worth it. I hope this video was so helpful to you. If it was, consider subscribing to the channel. Give me a comment down below telling me what I can do better. It's the best way that I know to tailor my videos more toward you guys. And shut out the noise, do the work.